Clara woke up earlier than usual. Her wife Lucy had important negotiations that day, and she wanted to cook a special breakfast for her to show her support. Lucy was an ambitious lawyer, while Clara was a passionate writer. They met during their college years and seemed to be too different to hit it off. Nevertheless, their connection was instant. There was a spark that ignited a friendship that soon blossomed into something bigger. As the years passed, Clara and Lucy navigated the challenges of life together, their bond growing stronger with each shared triumph and tribulation, until one day they decided to get married. While Lucy's family was very supportive, Clara found herself on the outs with her relatives. But she didn't care because she felt like Lucy was everything she could ever need in life. "Honey, when did you have the time to do all this? Did you even sleep at all?" Lucy asked as she walked into the kitchen. "Sure I did. I just got up earlier. I wanted to make sure you had breakfast before rushing off to work. I know you. You can go a whole day on coffee alone. And that's not good for you, honey." Lucy only laughed in response. Clara sure did know her well. After her wife left for work, Clara cleaned the kitchen and went into her study to work on her latest book. Lucy called at about 7 p.m. to warn Clara that she would be staying late at work again. It had been happening a lot lately, and Clara even started getting suspicious over those late nights at the office, as well as all those extra business trips she started taking. She tried pushing away those thoughts, especially since they had finally started discussing the possibility of having children. Lucy wouldn't want to adopt a child with me if she were having an affair, would she? Who starts a family with someone if they're cheating on them? Clara tried to reassure herself. Lucy came home late and tired. "Hey honey, I'm going to jump into the shower and hit the bed. I'm just too tired to even have dinner." Convincing herself that everything was fine was getting harder with each passing day. Since Clara worked from home, she handled most of the housework. One day, as she was doing the laundry, she found a couple of ticket stubs in her wife's pocket. There were 2 plane tickets, one in Lucy's name and one in the name of Sarah Jones. There were also 2 tickets to a show. Clara's head was buzzing with thoughts. She'd never once heard Lucy mention anyone by this name, which meant that it was unlikely that they worked together. And even if they did and could have traveled for work together, why would they go to a show? This all seemed too odd. Clara called Lucy, looking to ask for some sort of explanation, but instead she got even more reason to worry. Some unfamiliar woman answered her wife's phone. "Hello? Who is this? Where's Lucy?" Clara asked. Oh, I'm sorry. This is Sarah. I work with Lucy. Let me get a hold of her for you." But Clara didn't wait for Lucy to get to the phone. She hung up and immediately looked up the phone number of a detective agency. She needed to know the truth, whatever it was. Meanwhile, she decided not to confront her wife. She left her dinner out on the table and went to bed, hoping that she'd be able to get at least some sleep despite the anxious thoughts swirling in her head. Lucy got home well past midnight, took a quick shower, and went to bed. "Clara, are you awake?" she asked. But Clara pretended not to hear her. She wasn't ready to talk. The next morning, Clara decided to sleep in, which surprised Lucy, as that wasn't something that happened often. She knew about the phone call and realized that it was the reason behind Clara's strange behavior. Nevertheless, she didn't want to pull her into a conversation she wasn't ready to have. Thus, Lucy decided to leave her wife a note. "Honey, Sarah is just my assistant. She's temping for Jim while he's out sick. You have nothing to worry about. Love you, L." Clara saw the note, and although she really wanted to believe that her wife was telling the truth, she couldn't. She'd already set the investigation in motion, and all she had to do now was wait for the private investigator to get back to her. The next few days, Clara did her best to avoid her wife. She couldn't force herself to pretend that everything was fine, but she wasn't ready to talk about anything before she got the report from the private investigator. Finally, she got the call. "Ma'am, the courier will deliver my report within an hour. I'm very sorry." Those last words made Clara realize that her life would never be the same again. She knew it was the end of her happy marriage, and the end of talks about having children, the end of everything she thought she knew. She couldn't bring herself to open the envelope for a long time, as if trying to hold off the last moment of her blissful ignorance. Only it wasn't blissful anymore, nor was it ignorant. she already knew what she would find inside. The envelope contained irrefutable proof of Lucy's infidelity. There were pictures, phone records, and tickets from their trips together. Lucy and that woman named Sarah had been having an affair for a little over a year. Having pulled herself together, Clara got up, took a suitcase out of the closet, and packed it with Lucy's clothes. She wasn't in the wrong here, so she wouldn't be the one to go. She put the suitcase in the hall with a note. "I'll come back in the morning. Please don't be here by that time. We're done." She also attached one of the pictures from the report. Clara went outside and walked around the streets for about 2 hours. She couldn't make any sense of everything that had happened. She didn't know what to do next or how to live her life without Lucy in it. Clara turned off her phone and spent the night in a hotel. She went home the next morning. Lucy wasn't there, neither was her suitcase. The next few days were awful. Lucy kept calling Clara, but didn't dare to show up at home. Meanwhile, Clara hired a lawyer and filed for divorce. Having proof of her wife's infidelity, she was sure to get the house and most of their assets. The next time Clara and Lucy saw each other was in court. Lucy begged Clara to forgive her, claiming that it was a moment of weakness and that it would never happen again. But Clara knew the truth. She knew the affair had been going on for over a year, and she had too much self-respect to even consider taking Lucy back. As she expected, Clara got the house in the divorce, but she couldn't bring herself to live in it after everything that happened. She put it up for sale and decided to take a trip to clear her head. She went on a retreat in the mountains, hoping to regain her composure, to find peace of mind and the strength to move on. On her third day there, Clara met a woman named Laureen. She was also there to find her footing after a failed relationship. Laureen and her husband split up when they realized that they no longer made each other happy. Although it was an amicable decision, coming to terms with it was very hard, especially since they had a 2-year-old son and had no figure of how to deal with custody in a way that would least traumatize their child. Clara and Laureen found solace in each other's company. They shared many fears, such as the one that they may end up alone in life. Slowly, the pain of their previous relationships began to fade, replaced by the promise of a brighter future. By the time the retreat ended, the two women had become the best of friends. Since they came from different cities, they tried to stay in touch over the phone, but it soon became apparent that it wasn't enough for either of them. Since Clara had sold her house and could work from anywhere, she decided to move to be closer to her new friend. Laureen couldn't hold back her emotions when she heard the news. When Clara's plane landed, she was waiting for her at the airport. Clara was supposed to stay with Laureen only for a little while until she found her own place and got settled. However, she never left. Laureen introduced Clara to both her son and her ex-husband, and they all got along great. As we all know, life can be very unexpected. Laureen had always been interested in the person's personality, first and foremost, and now she realized that Clara was her true soulmate. Sometimes it takes a lot of time and pain, but when you eventually find that right person, all the hardships seem worth it. Let's hope that Clara and Laureen will live a long and happy life together.